So we've been making some upgrades to our Jeep recently, and I decided to document the process and bring you along as I thought it was pretty interesting. So hopefully you enjoy this little video. So really, I'm not the technical person when it comes to cars. I can only do the very basics. And my husband actually does this for a living, so he is the brains behind the operation. So we wouldn't even have a Jeep if it wasn't for him. But essentially with our Jeep, we did go halvesies on it and paid about 1,200 bucks. And it is a little bit of a dinged up Jeep, but it is kind of our baby and we have grown very accustomed to it. So when we first got it, it wasn't running and my husband got it running. And then we actually had a lot of fun in it. But last year in the fall, we were riding up on a trail and it started to leak gear oil out of the rear end. So we had to turn around and come home, but then it spent the winter in the garage. And that gave us some time to decide what kind of upgrades we wanted to make. So right now, and in this video, my husband is replacing the front and rear axle. Actually, this is the rear axle. And so now he's removed the things that hold it in place. And as you can see, he lifts it up and it was resting on the springs by a perch, which is that little stand that was on it. So now he's going to loosen it from the springs and slowly and ever so gently lower it down to the concrete garage floor. And that guy is going to be out of there. And then we will be able to add the new ones. This Jeep is actually a 1980 CJ7. And we are getting axles off of a different year, I believe, and type of Jeep, but it's all kind of like Legos to me, except fairly expensive. We did get these axles used, and so the new ones need to have a little bit of cleaning before they are ready to go in. And so I was tasked with the cleaning job. Here's the old one in the junk heap. And here's the new one ready to clean. But first, I have some little friends who were wanting to come out and say hi. They didn't want to be inside while we were outside, and so I thought maybe I should let them come out to the yard. So I opened up the door, ignored the things that hang down. We live hard here. And they were free to run around and lay around in the yard while, oh look, Happy Shake, while we got some cleaning done. And it was nice having them around. They can oversee the project. So here's my husband showing me what to do to clean the rear axle. He also tried this, but it didn't work for me to use. My hands are dainty. So on it was with the brush. So the wire brush was kind of satisfying, but took a lot of work to get the dirt and caked on fun that someone and also us had. Here's one chunk that was really satisfying. I'll save you most of the pain of it, and then all the while cleaning, I was able to look up and enjoy what the doggies were doing. Oh, sniffing the ground. Oh, biting at bugs. How cute. And where's the other one, I wonder? Oh no, I ripped my glove. No. Gotta replace those. Oh, she's not amused. What, you don't feel sorry for me? So I put on some better, more tough gloves. These are actually my gardening gloves. I pulled some pretty heavy-duty weeds in these, so here we go. I think this will work pretty well. And they were actually quite great, because I think otherwise I would have ended up with more bruises on my hand after whacking away at this thing and getting the dirt clumps off of it. Oh, and there's the little Iggy boy. And a Snoopy Doop. They were having a lot of fun hanging out and watching and enjoying the sun. We had had such a cold winter. Here's me with my spatula and my little bowl of porridge. No, it's actually just a flathead screwdriver and a bunch of dirt. So I'll just save us all some of the cleaning. The cleaning got done. I promise, but it was a lot of fun watching the doggies. They really liked being outside, and I like filming them too. So, we might be wondering what my husband was doing during this time. He's actually removing parts from the new front axle, but he's removing the parts that we're not going to be using. And I do not know what this tool is that he's using, but all I know is that somehow he attached the tool to the thing and it got the parts that were caked in mud and stuck on loosened, so he was able to remove them. And so I just included the most interesting parts, I would say, to this segment. Oh, this is the new front axle that I'll be cleaning, but first we're gonna he's removing more parts, unscrewing and untwisting and getting the tops off, and I cut out a lot of the kind of minutia of it, but these were kind of the more interesting parts when things were happening. He's really prying stuff, and look, the flathead screwdriver to the rescue again. Boy, those things come in handy. But yeah, he's been doing cars for a long time, so he has the confidence that it takes to take care of our Jeep. So essentially what he's doing is he's replacing the WE AMC 20 rear end with Dana 44 narrow tracks. Some parts of this were very satisfying to me, so I decided to include them and film them so that we could all see how it goes and kind of some of the technical stuff that we had to do. And this makes, I think, us enjoy our Jeep so much more. Meanwhile, Snoopy needed to have a little exercise, so we brought out our exerciser of the puppy, and he got some much needed fun. And of course, someone also got a nap. There's the Moop, laying on a garden hose. Aww, how cute. For the technical folks, these are spring perches and they do not line up properly. This is the old axle and the new axle sitting side by side. This means that the new axle is not going to sit on the spring just exactly right, so it is going to need a new perch. And this was something we were going to need more parts for, and maybe also another plan. But we would need to have something to rest that spring on. So we decided, well, what were we going to do with the rest of our day? Make some meat, of course. So we decided to smoke some meat for the rest of the day, and it was quite delicious. Oh, look at the little lady boy. He wonders if there's some for him. Oh, of course. You always get a taste. So this is actually a very inexpensive cut of meat, but with our pellet smoker, it just became phenomenal. My husband watches a lot of YouTube videos and has become quite good at making that meat. Fortunately, we would have a plan and we would come back again the next weekend. It might have been 2 weekends later. So we drove the axle to my husband's shop where he has a welder. You can see my cleaning job. I worked hard getting the chunks of dirt off. Oh look, you can see me. I'm the amateur filmmaker. Hi. Oh no, must I do everything? So here we are with the welder and all of its supporting PPE. Actually, I don't know what it's called in welding terms. Is it personal protective equipment? But at least he has a face shield and some very nice gloves. Okay, here is the new perch that is going to be welded here onto the axle in the correct spot so that it fits onto the springs and perches on them. So before we can weld it on, we had to uncover some of the metal in order to weld it or adhere it better with the welder. And look at how well that cleans it. That puts my cleaning to shame. Okay, now it's time for measurements. Making measurements to make sure that those perches are going to sit at the exact spot we need them. More measurements help make sure everything is in the right place because you wouldn't want to weld it twice or have to saw through it once you've welded it in place. So now the welder, aka my husband, makes a few little welds to slightly weld it in place and check it. And now the full-on weld is in order. He begins at the bottom and adds everything. I thought this process was very interesting. If you've never seen a welder like this or welding done, I think it's very interesting. Mostly I was totally into the sparkles, I gotta say. So as you can see, he's just layering on the welding material. And now it's complete. It kind of looks like lava that's dried into place, but trust me when I say do not touch this. Do not touch any of it. Do not touch the perch. Do not touch the piece that was welded on. I've kind of found out the hard way. And now that both are welded in place, we decided to just check because the angles looked a little off. So here we are using the phone leveler to check and make sure that everything is the same angle so that it will fit on the springs. And it looked like it all worked out and we won't have to re-weld them. Okay, that's the end of my video and I hope you've enjoyed watching. We plan to be doing more upgrades to our Jeep and I'm really hoping that we get out on the trail soon so that we can explore some of the beautiful areas that are all around us. And I really thank you for watching and I hope that you enjoy whatever it is that makes you happy.